One of the greatest pitchers you've likely never heard of hails from Cuba. His nickname, El Diamante Negro, the Black Diamond. This is the great Jose Mendez, possessing a dynamic fastball, a great hard-breaking curveball, and pinpoint control to go along with it. He dazzled not only in Cuba, but also in the Negro Leagues here in the United States with the great Kansas City Monarchs. And how did the great Major League manager John McGraw describe Jose Mendez? Only as a combination of Walter Johnson and Grover Alexander. That's pretty good. The relationship between the Negro Leagues and Cuba and Spanish-speaking countries in general was a bond created by baseball. Negro League players would venture down to Cuba well before major leaguers would go there, and of course, they were welcomed with open arms. And as I reflect on my friend Buck O'Neill, who recalled going to Havana, as he would say, when Havana was Havana. Oh, it was absolutely beautiful, as Buck would recall, how much they enjoyed the scenery and the treatment that they were welcomed to when they came to Cuba. And then when the Cuban athletes would venture away from home to come play in the Negro Leagues, they got the exact acceptance here in the Negro Leagues. You see, the Negro Leagues just simply did not care what color you were. All they cared was, can you play? Physically, Jose Mendez reminds me of the great Major League pitcher, Pedro Martinez. Built almost identical. He was a small man, wiry, long arms, long fingers, an arm much bigger than his stature. Blazing fastball, high-rising fastball with a sharp breaking curveball, and then you add the dimension of pinpoint control, he was virtually unhittable. Jose Mendez's breakout season in 1908 as a youngster is one for the record books. The Cincinnati Reds had ventured down to Cuba as Cuba was open now for goodwill tours of baseball. Jose Mendez welcomed the Cincinnati Reds to his native Cuba by pitching 25 consecutive shutout innings. Oh, it gets even better. He would go on to add to that number, compiling 45 consecutive shutout innings against both minor and major league teams during that particular jaunt there in Cuba. I'm not sure you'll see that feat duplicated again. Jose Mendez had the stuff. He had all the stuff. So much so that the great James Leslie Wilkinson, the owner of the Kansas City Monarchs, would bring the Black Diamond over to Kansas City. Mendez responded as the Monarchs would become a juggernaut there in the Negro National League. Jose Mendez was a tremendous pitcher because not only did he start, he also closed games, many games, as a member of the Kansas City Monarchs. In 7 amazing seasons in the Negro Leagues, Jose Mendez posted a 30-9 one-loss record with a dazzling 3.46 ERA. Jose Mendez's dazzling pitching career was somewhat shortened by the fact that he had some arm trouble about 6 years into his career. And he moved to shortstop, and he played a great shortstop. But when he needed to toe the rubber, Mendez summoned up the strength to get out on the mound, and he dazzled once again, helping the Monarchs capture the inaugural Negro Leagues World Series, an exciting 10-game series against the Hilldale Daisies out of Darby, Pennsylvania. And Jose Mendez was one of the stars of that series, winning the deciding game number 10 to bring the title home to the Heartland. Jose Mendez was one of the most dominant pitchers this game has ever seen. the Black Diamond. Oh, and he was a great one. He is rightfully enshrined in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. It's almost shameful that it took until 2006 for his induction, but he's finally where he absolutely belongs, in the National Baseball Hall of Fame as one of those stellar arms from both Cuba and the Negro Leagues.